The Depot is making his debut. So we got Marlins at 4:10. We've got Panthers and Red Wings at 7 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, we've got the Heat and the Golden State Warriors. This is one of those really, really cool days here in sports where you get an opportunity to see all of your teams. And it kind of crosses over a little bit. This is where you need multiple TVs. This is why I tell you all the time that you got to call EJD Construction so you can kind of improve that man cave and all of that. And I'm sure some of you have already done some of that during this pandemic since you spend more time at home than we normally. I wonder how many of us have now been convinced that it's better to stay at home most of the time. I mean,
like how many people like are more homebody-ish now?
Yeah.
Oh, I was that before the pandemic.
I was that already. So
Yeah.
to me, the pandemic didn't do the kind of damage to me
Yeah,
that
I
others.
was built for that, man.
Right. I don't mind staying home. Dude, the only time I really go out is for work and a concert. That's the only thing that killed me and has killed me, and it's still killing me for over a year now, that I can't go to a concert. That's the only thing that's really, 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 well, obviously, financially, all the other things that the pandemic has done to all of us. Unless you invested $3 or $4 million in Bitcoin, in Dogecoin, and Elon Musk goes tweeting out that he's going to put a Dogecoin on the moon and it went up to 7 cents, and you dumped it and you probably made some money. You know what I mean? That could be the case. But outside of that, most of us are hurting financially from the pandemic. But as a lifestyle, I bet there's a lot of you out there that have become more homebodies than ever, and after being at home, so much. And so that's why I would imagine that a lot of people are. And listen, man, we see what's going on in the streets. People getting shot on I-95. We've got our this disgusting thing that's going on against the Asian community, that we got people out of nowhere beating up Asians for no reason at all. I mean, it's just kind of, the South Beach, you got all the idiots, in South Beach, all of that stuff. And please, let me explain something to some of the people out there that are trying to talk about this issue. It has nothing to do with race, okay? I get it. We all are prisoners of the moment, and you only live in the moment, especially the punks that are out there on the street in South Beach. But those punks weren't around back in the late 80s and early 90s when Fort Lauderdale did the same thing the South Beach is about to do to the kids. Get the hell out of here. We don't want you here. Okay? So it has nothing to do with it, what color they were or are or sex or anything like that, because obviously it was a different demographic in Fort Lauderdale, and they told them to get the hell out. So they're going to do the same thing. And what Fort Lauderdale Beach and what South Beach need to do is price all these idiots out. That's it, man. Become a higher-end place where you now are luring higher-end people. And then that way, the kids can't afford high-end. That's what they did in Fort Lauderdale. They got rid of all the bars with all the wet T-shirts, and they got rid of all that kind of element, and they'll do the same thing here. They'll get rid of the same kind of element and just make it a little bit more pricier. That's all. It's pretty simple. The finances will kill it all. And you'll lure a different set of people. You'll lure a higher end families. You'll lure the higher end folks that want to spend money. The ones that can stay at Lowe's, those are the kind of people you need all throughout the beach. Fashion, you get into all of that stuff, high end stuff. That's what you got to do, unfortunately, but that's the way you get rid. And that's the thing. It's going out in the streets is a risk already as it is. You know what I mean? So I would imagine that there's a lot of people that have kind of made it a thing to stay home. And today is a perfect day to stay home because starting at 4:10, and there's a lot of you now that are working from home, right? I mean, there's a lot of companies that are starting to sell their buildings. You know what I mean? Because they're not going to be working. They don't need those kind of buildings anymore. I heard Clear Channel selling their building, Tito. They're going to sell their building because they realize that most of the people don't need to be in the offices anymore.
Yeah, I think remote work has always and forever will be kind of just the way we're trending. It's easier. You don't got to pay for why pay for a building when everyone works from home.
Right, exactly. And if you can work from home and be productive,
If
I mean,
efficiency doesn't drop, then
right.
what are you doing?
Right, exactly. You're being smart, and you're keeping everybody a little safer too.
Right. Yeah.
Because in our business for many years, people would come to work with colds, and then they're on the mic for 3-4 hours, just coughing, wheezing on that mic, and then guess what? The next host comes and picks up that crap, and then and so on and so forth. And it's always been like that, and it's like that at your job and everybody else's job. That's why we always tell you about calling M&S Air Conditioning, so you could get that polarized air filter, because that thing, we have it here, man. It eliminates all that crap because we want clean air in here, as much as possible. And having said all that, I've been vaccinated, fully vaccinated. And we put in a polarized air filter to eliminate all the contaminants from M&S. And I still clean my desk. I still, wipe down the mic. I still zap it every single day, no matter what. Now that I think about it, I don't even want a cold, man. If I can avoid a cold too, then it's worth it. Because cold just all it does is set you back. So anyway, good morning, good afternoon, everybody out there. Thank you for joining us. What do we got? Troy Ortiz is already in there. Are you saying people who are broke have no class? No, I'm just saying kids are broke and they act like idiots. Am I wrong? Do you watch them in Daytona? Do you watch them in Panama City, in Galveston, back in the day in Fort Lauderdale, and now in South Beach? Kids are idiots, and they don't have a lot of money. So the ones that are coming from college and they got to eat cold pizza and they got to wait for the bar to open up on the night where it's 99-cent beers and all that, yeah, they don't have money. Yeah, it's pretty simple, man. It's pricing. It's put it this way, Troy, and I'm sure maybe you didn't realize it, but now you'll realize it and now you'll notice it. You look at Biscayne Boulevard. I don't know how old you are, Troy. But, 25, 35 years ago, you walk Biscayne and 14th and 20th, and you might be dead within an hour. Now, you go there, you can walk those streets because there's all kinds of restaurants and bars and all kinds of stuff. And that's because now they're building all of that, and they're pushing everything else out. So they raise the economic level of it, and then that prices people out. So what the element that was there is now gone. That's just the way it is. And that's what happens in a lot of places, and that's what needs to happen in South Beach. You got to price the punks out. That's it. So they can't go, and they can't afford to go to any of those bars. They can't afford to go to any of those restaurants, and they won't bother to hang out. That's all. It's the same thing Fort Lauderdale did, man. No difference. But bottom line is, the streets, I'm not surprised if a lot of you have become more homebodies because it's not worth it sometimes being out there. So there you go. If you do that, then you're playing the class card. And what's your problem with that, Richard? You don't like it? Too bad. Playing the class card. Yeah, dude, I'm playing the class card. Yeah, you want to clean up the streets? You want to get rid of the idiots that are partying and damaging stuff? Yeah, that's it. You play the class card. Price the punks out. That's all. Troy says, I'm a homebody, This world is too effing crazy. I'm with you. GP Trap is in. Hello to the Big O Nation. Matt Walker is in. Ian from Brooklyn says, T-shirt is fire. Thank you. Thank you. Little cult action for you. If you picked it up, I don't know if you know that this is a cult, but yes, it is the cult. Jean-Luc is in. NorCal is in. Let's go Oakland. Clap, clap, clap. Is that Oakland and you have the clap, or are you clapping for Oakland? What is that? I'm sorry. Let's see what else. And John Rouse is in the house, and Josh is in also. Herman Cueva just checked in. Very non-left-wing view. No, Richard, it's very, see, that's the problem with some of you out there. You look at things. You look at everything political. You think somebody's opinion comes from the right or the left. If you've known me long enough already at this point, you should know I don't care about Democrats or Republicans. I give you my opinion. It doesn't come from the right or the left. Why? Because my opinions vary. There's a lot of things I like and things that I don't like. And common sense tells you, you want to get rid of the element, price them out. That's it, bro. I saw it 25 years ago. Maybe 30, right? Well, but Tito, look it up. Fort Lauderdale kicking out spring breakers. Put it that Fort Lauderdale kicks out spring breakers. Tell me what year. I want to say it was 89, 88, 90, maybe 91. It's a long time ago, man. It's for me to remember all of that. But I remember Fort Lauderdale got tired of it too, and they did the same thing, dude. And South Beach will do the same thing. Price them out. Price them out. That's it. You'll get rid of the kids. You'll get rid of the hassle. And let me tell you, living in South Beach, do you want that? Multitasking. There we go. 32 years ago, John Rouse says. So is that right? So that's 89. Is that right? That's what John Ross is saying. I think you're right. I think it was right in that area because that's where I said, if I remember correctly, because it was after I got out of high school, which 85, and I know that it was a couple of years after I got out of high school that they started to, say Fort Lauderdale was like, no, we've had enough. Kids are going crazy. They're getting in trouble. They're getting drunk or jumping off roofs into pools. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. They wanted to get rid of the kids. You got an article or anything there? You got any year or something on there?
I got residents became so upset at the damage done by riotous students that the local government passed laws restricting parties in 1985.
Nah, I don't. Because 85,
By 1989, the number of college students traveling to Fort Lauderdale fell to 20,000, a far cry from the 350,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say 500,000. I was gonna say 500,000. God, those were the days. That was so awesome. The early 80s in the Strip. Oh, Lord. I can't tell you how much fun I had. Destroyed nothing. Hurt nobody.
Bro.
Hurt nobody. We're not talking crypto. We're talking
Crypto, bro.
We're talking spring break here. What the hell does that do with crypto?
Roll Tide.
Did Bitcoin cross 60,000 or something? It's at 59. I never understand who spam up comment section. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, Matt Walker. I think you've been around a little while. You know that if you start spamming or trolling on my chat board, you know what ends up happening, right? We all know, right? In fact, some of you that are veterans of all of this, put the sign that you guys put when you want me to get rid of somebody. Watch. Okay, Trambach says sorry. Okay. Trambach, you can converse with everybody. You can give your opinions. But if you go overboard and you start just trying to dominate the chat board and want to be annoying, you will get blocked. You will get eliminated. You will get just taken out. So we don't mind. There we go. Gus 1388. Put both signs. Okay. He's a veteran. He knows. He's been with me for a while. Antonio says, no, not movie big buff. You're not a big movie buff. Godzilla versus Kong, fun movie to watch.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Listen, I can't tell you that I'm into these Godzilla and King Kong movies anymore. Okay? To me, King Kong, Godzilla movies, they were really cool when I was 10, when I was 12, When I'm watching, the Asian people say, Godzilla coming for us, so I remember that back in the day. What was the name of the big turtle that had the fire and all that stuff? So, and listen, I've watched the Jack Black King Kong. I've watched the original one with Jessica, what was her name? Jessica whatever. the one with Bridges, right? I mean, I've watched. I saw the Godzilla that came out. I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. It's a Saturday. You're bored. You're cruising through the channels, and you run into it, and you watch it. And listen, I'm home a lot. I don't get to go to a lot of concerts anymore. As those of you that know me very well, I would go to concerts maybe 2, 3, 4 times a week. If they're in town, I'm going to see music. I love seeing me some live music, man. So that's what I would. That's the only time I would leave the family is to go to a concert, because that's one of my passions. But I could see myself watching Kong and Godzilla for fun. You know what I mean? But not because I'm dying to watch it or anything. But it's like you said, Antonio, I think you had a great attitude about it. A fun movie to watch, just to watch it. Okay? Godzilla should win because he's got that fire breath. But something tells me, of course, Kong's going to win, right? Because they went to go retrieve Kong to fight Godzilla. And so Kong is supposed to be fighting for the good people. So I guess Kong will win. Did I ruin it for people out there? All right, let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side. Don't forget, every day, Onside Radio, our hosts sit down at the round table to tackle the most important local and national sports headlines. The round table is podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review to listen to all kinds of station segments. OnsideRadio.com is the home for South Florida sports.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty, to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
At Baptist Health, we are ready
to serve, to treat,
to safely proceed with your procedure.
We're ready for ER visits and office visits
with skilled surgeons,
advanced medicine,
and multidisciplinary teams.
We're ready for new arrivals
and new recoveries.
We are ready.
We're ready to diagnose, treat, and manage
anything that comes our way
with exceptional care and comfort.
With the same preparedness and compassion you've come to expect from Baptist Health.
And we are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready
to care for you.
Take Onside Radio everywhere you go with the MyTuner Radio app. Download the free app and listen to your favorite OnsideRadio.com host. Go to your app store, download MyTuner Radio, and search Onside Radio, South Florida's sports station. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's more to ADHD.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Alrighty, I'm sorry. It's multitasking, dude. I'm doing 80 things at the same time in this place. Anyway, welcome back. We take you, of course, till 3. You know, takes over then, dude. It's Alex Dono who kicks freaking ass every day till 6 o'clock. Michael Christian will do his thing from 6 to 7 with game night. You can do your thing by getting in on the phone lines at 888-441-4623. The text line, 844-416-8123. So many things to talk about. Jordan McPherson, by the way, is going to join us in the next segment. So we'll talk a little baseball with Jordan and have some fun, man, with Jordan. I'm looking forward to the Marlins season. And you know, one of the things that we pose to all of our hosts every day is our roundtable discussion. And today on the roundtable discussion, I put out to the folks, I said, with the start of the baseball season, what kind of commitment do you have to the Marlins? And are you all in no matter what? Or are you still in a wait-and-see mode to determine whether Jeter and Sherman are truly committed to winning? So if you're all the way at the back end and you're waiting for Jeter and Sherman to show you that, it's going to be a few years. And so here's the way I'm looking at this. This is the last time. Okay, I did not commit to Yelich or Stanton. I would watch Jose's outings. That's it. I promise you, that's all I ever did with the Marlins. I would watch Jose's outings. The second Jose left the mound, if he didn't finish the game, I turned off the TV. I didn't care about anything else. I did not get tied to Jose, but I did want to watch him pitch because he's such a freak. But I did not get tied to Yelich or Stanton or Ozuna because I knew they were all gone. I saw the contracts were signed, were backloaded. I was done with the Marlins. I was done with Laurie. Anybody that follows me, you know that. And so why? Because I had gotten burned with the first group. I got burned when he couldn't keep people around. And then when he took over with the new stadium and had that team and then dumped it after 2 months, I was done with Laurie again. And I was just never going to follow the Marlins again. I've been a monster Jeter fan his entire career. I can't stand the Yankees. I don't care about the Yankees. But I admire the Tony Gwynns and the Cal Ripkins. I admire the Joe Montanas. I admire the Jerry Rices. I admire the Walter Paytons. You get what you understand what I'm saying? There are certain players, athletes, that I admire no matter that they don't play on my favorite team, but the way they carry themselves, the examples they set, it's great for adults and for kids. And to me, Derek Jeter was that guy. Derek Jeter is one of those guys, not that guy, one of those guys. And so I've been a monster Derek Jeter fan, and I want him to succeed. Now, I'm the first guy to tell you, we really don't know if Sherman – I'm not big on these ownership type groups, that there's like 16 different owners on this team. I'm not big on that. I wasn't big on that from the get-go. Marcus Lemonis, who knows about money a hell of a lot more than I do. It's funny because when they took over, he went after me a little bit on social media. We're friends, and I've had him on my show several times, and we go back and forth. He's awesome. But he was kind of challenging me on that, and I say, hey, man, from what I've noticed, when you have a whole bunch of owners, it just doesn't work. Viner with the Panthers, he had a whole bunch of dudes. And when you have a whole bunch of dudes, that means you don't have enough money. And so when there's a cash call, they're like, oh, yeah, I don't have those pockets. That's why I love a family or one filthy rich guy or woman, whatever. I don't care. That's the way I like it. So I already had an issue with that's a hurdle that Sherman and Jeter now have to prove to me that an ownership group of 400 people can survive and can really, thrive, and do they have the money? And so, yeah, I'll tell you that. But I am all in. I am going to invest my emotions in everybody, okay? From Alcantara to Jazz Chisholm to all these guys that are there right now. I'm going to root for them. I want them to succeed. I'm going to follow them. I'm going to give Jeter and Sherman the benefit of the doubt, even though it goes against everything philosophically I believe in, okay? Why? Because I want Jeter to succeed, dude. I really do. But again, until some of these players become arbitration eligible and then contract eligible, and they're really good, and now you got to pay them to keep them, that's when we're going to find out what we have in ownership, ultimately. But I'm all in. I want them to succeed. I'm going to root for these young guys. I hope that they get to grow up here. Listen, one of the reasons why, and the Panthers are halfway there, one of the reasons why the Marlins have not succeeded, it's because nobody plays and retires here. We don't have a Marino. We don't have a Jason Taylor. We don't have a Wade. We don't have an Alonzo Mourning. We know Bam Adebayo is going to rot in hell here. I mean that in a good way, by the way. I mean, he's going to be here. We're going to lift that jersey into the rafters. He's going to have his 12, 15-year career. He's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? And if Tyler becomes a stud, he won't go anywhere because we can trust Mickey Arison. We don't have a Dwayne Wade, so we can get Wade County. We've never done that with the Marlins. We've never drafted a guy that we brought up and then we watch him grow, we watch him retire with the team, we have our celebration, and then maybe down the line it could be a guy that could go into the Hall of Fame representing the Marlins. We've never had that. And that identity is super important, dude. You got to have a Zonka. You got to have a Greasy, and you got to have a Marino, and you got to have a Jason Taylor, and you got to have a Zach Thomas. That's just the way it is. And if Tua's the man, which I believe he will be, he will rot in hell here also. You know what I mean? Those guys will die as Dolphins. And you know it and I know it. The Panthers are halfway there. They committed to Barkov, Huberdeau, and Ekblad. We have 3 guys that have the identity of the Panthers now. And those guys will probably retire as Panthers, which is awesome for us, which is a way a generation gets to identify their team. When I was a kid, I knew Mike Schmidt would be at third base every year. I was a Phillies fan because I didn't have the Marlins. So I was a Phillies fan. But that's how you identify, because Mike Schmidt will be there and Steve Carlton will be on the mound making all kinds of faces and pitching the hell out of his ass. But that's how I identify. That's how I became a fan, because those were my guys. And it's very important that the Marlins, Jeter and Sherman, get to that point where they have a couple guys that grow up here and retire here and become not the fake Marlins guy that we have with Jeff Conine, which I don't mean it in a bad way, but he really did not have an entire career. He just had 2 very important stints. Is what he had. He had 2 memorable stints, right? The expansion leading to the 97 championship, then he leaves, and he comes back for that 2003 championship. So it's not like he was a longtime Marlin, but he's the closest thing we have to identifying because he was there for the 3 most magical moments of the Marlins. The expansion year, the first World Series, and the second World Series. So he was part of the most important things that went on. That's why he's Mr. Marlin. But we really don't have a Mr. Marlin. We don't. And that's what they need to develop, a Mr. Marlin. Jordan McPherson from the Miami Herald covering the Marlins. Next.
Now streaming online. Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com. Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
If you missed Man of the Match with Alex Dano, you missed.
So Deshaun Watson has sat down with new Texans head coach David Culley. Did he have his teeth in for the interview, David? He's a little older.
Hold on, let me get my dentures in here, Deshaun. Deshaun, hey, just give me a second. We're eating this pineapple here. It's getting stuck in my dentures.
Was he watching Murder, She Wrote during the meeting?
Deshaun, it's getting a little late here. It's 7 o'clock. I got to go to bed soon, all right?
Deshaun, it's 4:30. I've got to go to the early bird special.
Deshaun, give me a second. I'm just taking my Metamucil here. If you just give me a second.
I've taken Metamucil before, actually. It works. I'm not even that old.
Man of the Match with Alex Dano, weekdays live on South Florida's home for sports talk, OnsideRadio.com.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Saturday mornings, 9 a.m., Sean Stanley hosts the Square Circle Digest.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here, I'm the man.
Now, wrestling fans have a place to call home as Sean covers the very colorful world of wrestling. Tune in every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on the home for sports fans worldwide, OnsideRadio.com. Onside Radio continues to grow. To make your life easier, you can now find your favorite sports station by downloading the MyTuner Radio app and listen to your favorite OnsideRadio.com host or catch a great Inter Miami CF match. Go to your app store, download MyTuner Radio, and search Onside Radio, the home for the South Florida sports fan.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans. Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
Miami Heat pulling out a gutty win over the Pacers last night, winning 92-87. Duncan Robinson was the hero of the night, team high 20 points, including 6 of 11 from downtown. Heat are back at 500 at 24-24 on the year. They play again tonight at home against the Warriors. Head coach Eric Spoelstra said Victor Oladipo should be good to make his first appearance in a Heat uniform. Tip-off is slated for 8 p.m. Florida Panthers take on the Red Wings tonight in a rematch of Tuesday's game. Panthers looking to jump ahead in the Central Division. They're tied with the Lightning with 50 points apiece. 7 p.m. puck drop as the Panthers are going as a minus 240 favorite on the money line, according to Vegas. And last but not least, it's opening day for your Miami Marlins. The Marlins face the Tampa Bay Rays today at 4:10 p.m. Sandy Alcantara on the mound for the Fish with Tyler Glasnow throwing for the Rays. With your Onside Sports Update, I'm Tito Bonacci. Coming up next, it's more of the Onside Zone with the Big O right here on OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
All righty. Marlins, baby, they open up the season today at 4:10. They'll be at Marlins Park, or actually, shall I call it Lone Depot Stadium, or Lone Depot Park, actually. And we got Glasnow versus Alcantara. And, of course, the man, the myth, the legend that is Jordan McPherson will be covering the Marlins like he does every single day for the Miami Herald. Follow him like I and many others do at J_McPherson1126. Jordan, happy opening day, my friend.
Happy opening day, Big O. How have you been, man?
I've been great, brother. Can't complain. Having some fun here with Onside Radio, and thank you. I know you joined the boys at deep into the count on Saturday. You do a great job talking a little baseball and a little Marlins, so I appreciate you giving the young boys a little love on their program.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was great to talk with both of them. They both were very insightful. They asked some great questions, and, yeah, a couple good up-and-comers there.
Yep, no doubt about it. We got plenty of those here on this station. We got a lot of fresh faces that people are getting to know, that I think very young people, they got some talent and can really add something to sports talk here in South Florida. All right, so let's get to the Marlins, my brother. And in a way, the Marlins are kind of carrying that storyline that the Heat had to carry, right? Oh, it's the bubble. You guys apparently had an advantage. You know, now you got to prove it with the regular schedule and traveling and all that. And it's been a little bit more of a challenge for the Heat, obviously, because they're a 500 team so far. Well, the Marlins, kind of the same thing, Jordan, right? They're going into it with the Rodney Dangerfield no respect that, you know, it was an aberration what happened last year, correct?
Yeah, that's basically what's going on. I mean, you look at any national pundit, any place that's doing power rankings and whatnot, and the Marlins are still in the bottom third in just everyone. I think the highest I saw was ESPN putting them at 21st out of the 30 teams. And sure, you can say they had an advantage. There was the extra playoff spot. There were the extra playoff spots. There were only 60 games. But remember what the Marlins went through that first weekend of the season when they lost a third of their roster. And the fact that they were able to claw back and have a record above 500 despite only carrying originally at one point only 4 members of their original bullpen when they had 12 to start. And all the rotating with guys, they had to make the 18 guys who made their debuts, just a lot of guys getting rushed up before they were ready and still being able to make the playoffs. That has to be taken into consideration. And yes, there's that notion the Marlins offense, they don't have the flashy player, but they have 8 steady guys in their lineup, which would be 9 if they had the DH and they were able to get Cooper, Aguilar, and Duvall in there every single day. But they have the pieces to make some noise if everything falls their way.
So that, you know, and to me, the key is going to be that young pitching staff because it's actually really good. And that bullpen, they were able to improve it down the back end of the offseason. They added a couple guys. If the pitching can be as good as we think it could be and the bullpen can keep it, you know, tight, they're going to be in a lot of these matchups. So do you feel the same way about that pitching staff, that really could be the key to a lot of these close games?
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, you look at what the rotation is right now. Sandy Alcantara, opening day starter for the second straight year, who really came on at the end of 2019 and then just showed out at the end of 2020 plus the playoffs. Pablo Lopez, he took a big jump last year, and I'm expecting more of the same from him this year. Eliezer Hernandez is going to be that guy who's going to be under the radar because he doesn't have the 98, 99-mile-an-hour fastball, but he gets a lot of swing and misses. He gets a lot of strikeouts. Trevor Rogers is going to be a rookie who's going to surprise. 6'4", 6'5" lefty, throws 96, has a slider and a changeup that are both improving. The question is going to be what happens with Sixto Sanchez. We just got news, actually just about 25, 30 minutes ago, that he had to get pulled from his sim game up at the alternate training site after a couple innings due to some discomfort in his throwing shoulder. Yeah. So the Marlins are going to have to evaluate him, and they're going to have to slow his progression. And it's more than likely, I would think May now is going to be the earliest we see him instead of a couple weeks like the initial plan.
Yeah, and that's one dude that's like must-see TV, my brother. I mean, I love Alcantara. Obviously, he's older. He's more experienced at this point than this kid, but Sixto, brother, that's God-given, blessed ability right there. That is must-see TV every time he's on the mound.
It definitely is, and I find it funny that you mentioned that Sandy is so much older. He's only 25.
But
So
I mean, the experience is what I mean.
Yeah, no, of course. No, definitely. But still, just the fact that this entire rotation is 25 and younger, and they have all this potential. And Sixto specifically, I mean, that fastball touches 101, 102 at times. His changeup is one of the best pitches in baseball if he can get his command up. And then he has command of all of his secondary pitches as well. If he can stay healthy, and that's been the big if since they acquired him in that JT Realmuto trade, because he had the elbow issues early on that basically kept him that delayed his minor league season in 2019. 2020, he showed up to camp out of shape, and then once summer camp came up, and then once they finally got him into the big leagues, we saw the flash of the potential. It's just a matter of keeping this guy healthy and to a point where he can actually be on the mound every 5 days and show that potential. Because until then, that's really all it is potential. We need to actually see it executed in a lot of games, in games that count. And if he can do that, he's going to be so much fun to watch for years to come.
I was posing this question because, Jordan, we have a round table question we do every day on the station, and then all the hosts have to answer that round table question, and then we podcast that whole thing so fans can kind of hear every, whatever hot button subject it is. And this time around, the one I asked was, with the start of the baseball season, what kind of commitment do you have to the Marlins? Are you all in no matter what, or are you still in a wait-and-see mode to determine whether Jeter and Sherman are truly committed to winning? Now, as a writer, I'm not going to ask you directly about that because that's not the way you look at things. But the third part about that is, tell the fans out there what convinces you, or you haven't been convinced yet, that this is an ownership group that once they do develop the guys, Alcantara, whoever, J.J. Bleday, I don't care, Jazz Chisholm, whoever becomes a stud, what convinces you that they will sign them to long-term deals to develop a core, or are you not convinced of that yet?
I feel like the answer to that question is going to come this offseason, after the 2021 season. Because first off, the main two guys they have who have been in the big leagues, have the experience, who are worthy of the contract extensions that you're speaking of, are Sandy Alcantara and Brian Anderson. The rest of the guys who they have gotten in between, whether it's through trades or through the draft or whatever, have either not made it to the big leagues yet or haven't done enough in the big leagues yet to ultimately justify doing all that yet. And now also with the fact that they have the stadium naming right deal, they have the new TV contract, they're going to have the money to spend once we hit into this offseason. So what they do from the end of 2021 into the start of 2022 season is really, in my perspective, going to be the most telling part of how they go through the rest of this rebuild.
And Jordan, Jeter has said all the right things. And I got to tell you personally, I root for the guy because I've been a Jeter fan from the get-go. Because I was talking about this earlier. I don't care if you're Cal Ripken or you're Joe Montana or you're Walter Payton or you're, whatever, any of these kind of players that just carry themselves the right way. So I root for Jeter. But he has said he wants to see stadium filled up. He does realize that they've got to do their part and win and put a winning product and win people's trust over before he truly sees that stadium full. He understands that, right?
Oh, he definitely does, but he also realizes that he's not going to sacrifice 1 year of instant pot success for the longevity of having the chance to be able to be a playoff contending team every single year, which is why they have had that slow build. They've been building everything from the minor leagues up, which is the correct approach to do this, especially with the way the minor league system was in the first place. Last year, during that shortened season, despite the fact that fans weren't allowed in, they finally got to see everything show up at the big league level. They got that taste of it. Now it's just a matter of seeing what they do to make sure that they're able to sustain that beyond just the 1 year that we saw.
I'm with you there. All right, so today, not an easy one, dude. The Rays are that team that they just do magic with limitations, which is amazing. And they're always one of the better organizations. They definitely have some amazing baseball people. How difficult of a challenge is it in this series for the Marlins?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough series. I mean, really, first four all together are going to be tough. I mean, you've got the Rays for the first three, then you have the Cardinals for the first three, where we'll get to see Nolan Arenado down here. Then their first road trip is at the Mets and at the Braves. Their first 13 games, I believe it is, from right, the Mets series is a 4-game set. Those first 13 games are going to be really telling about the direction that this season is going to go. If they can hang tough with them, it's going to turn some heads. If they fall flat throughout those first 13 games, it'll be a long season. It could potentially be the start of a long season.
Who's the young guy in your eyes that could have a breakout in this roster? If you tell fans, watch this guy, I think he's going to have a hell of a season.
I'm going to give you one from each side. From the pitcher side, I'm going with Trevor Rogers. He wowed me enough during spring training. He had a rough patch during the 2020 season when he got called up. 7 starts. It was about a 6 ERA, but he strikes out a lot of guys. He has swing and miss potential with all 3 of his pitches, and he just showed an aggressiveness, sort of like what we saw with Sandy Alcantara at the end of 2019 when he flipped the switch. I saw that from him in spring training this past month. I feel like if he can keep that up going into the season, he could become a force in the rotation, especially at the number 5 spot. From position players, I mean, I feel like it'd be easy to go with Jazz just because he's already here. He's going to be making his big league or his opening day debut today, batting 6th at second base. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Jazz just because he's here and because we really don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the prospect, especially since the outfield is already full, first base is already full, which sort of keeps Lewin Diaz out a little bit. But, yeah, I would go with Jazz or a guy who's already somewhat established. I guess I can go with Jorge Alfaro as well. He knows that he's in a proving year this season behind the plate. He was benched during the playoffs in favor of Chad Wallace, who was better defensively, but nowhere near the power potential and hitting potential at the plate. And Alfaro took that as a wake-up call, took it as a slap in the face, and basically said that he knows that if he doesn't improve and perform here, he knows the Marlins might go in a different direction at catcher. So he has to prove it, and I feel like having that chip on his shoulder is going to help him out a lot this season.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. Should be fun. 4:10 first pitch. Glasnow versus Alcantara. And, of course, Jordan McPherson will be covering it. Make sure you follow him at the Miami Herald. Follow him on Twitter at J_McPherson1126. More importantly, subscribe to the Miami Herald and support our exceptional journalists who do a great job of covering everything in local news and sports, and people like Jordan. Jordan, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time.
Appreciate you, Big O. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. There you go, Jordan McPherson, man. Good stuff there. As always, we do want to remind you that Onside Radio understands gaming is a big part of the sports landscape. That's why every day we keep you updated with some of the latest gaming news with Onside Radio's E-Minute, hosted by Toast Kai and Michael Christian. If you miss it, it's podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review. OnsideRadio.com, the station gamers call home.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to 2 of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnsideRadio.com.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit more2adhd.com for additional information. That's more2adhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections.
The impossible becomes possible.
Not Sandy Alcantara